Émilie de Vialar. Émilie de Vialar, or Émilie de Vialar, 1797–1856, was a French nun who founded the missionary congregation of the Sisters of Saint Joseph of the Apparition. She is revered as a saint by the Catholic Church. Early life. Émilie de Vialar was born on 12 September 1797 to Jacques and Antoinette Portal de Vialar in Gaillac. Her father was a doctor. De Vialar was born 3 years after the Reign of Terror, in the same year as Pope Pius VI was taken prisoner by French troops. She was the oldest of 3 children and was baptized in secret. At a young age, de Vialar was taught by her mother how to read. At the age of 13 she went to the Parisian College of the Abbé aux Bois Ladies for young ladies of quality, accompanied by her mother, who became ill on the long journey. Despite the best efforts of de Vialar's father, on 17 September 1810 her mother died at the age of 35. At the age of 15, de Vialar returned to Gaillac to live with her father and 2 younger brothers. She found that her father, overwhelmed with grief, had relinquished management of the household to Toinon, a devoted but autocratic servant. In her attempts to help the poor, the old and the destitute, de Vialar invited them to the house, causing considerable tension in the household. Other young women joined her efforts. In 1832, her maternal grandfather left her an inheritance, with which she bought a house for herself and her companions. Inspired by Matthew 1:20, where an angel appeared, her brother Agostino lived in French Algeria and proposed to open a hospital in Beaufort, near Algiers. De Vialar and her first companions arrived at a time of an outbreak of cholera. She used money her grandfather left her to open hospitals and schools. De Vialar and 17 other sisters received a formal approval for the rule of congregation in 1835. However, in 1843, the Bishop of Algiers had all the nuns returned to France. De Vialar left France to establish schools and hospitals in Cyprus, Tripoli, and Beirut. In 1845, de Vialar was on her way from Tunisia to Algeria when the ship on which she was traveling was caught in a terrible storm for 9 days. De Vialar vowed that wherever they landed safe and sound, she would open a house and dedicate it to St. Paul. The ship came to rest at Malta, where St. Paul had also been shipwrecked. There de Vialar opened one of the first Catholic schools for young ladies. Meanwhile, back in Gaillac, the local superior, deceived by an unscrupulous businessman, had accumulated debts. She abandoned the congregation and sued for the return of his dowry. Beset by slander and creditors, Mother de Vialar was forced to leave her hometown. Her inheritance now long gone on the many institutions she built, in 1852, de Vialar found help and hope in Marseilles with the benevolent acceptance of Eugene de Maisonade, founder of the Missionary Oblates of Mary Immaculate. Émilie de Vialar died in Marseilles on 24 August 1856. "The saint is dead," said the poor people who knew her kindness. She was declared on 24 June 1951. Her feast day is 24 August in the general calendar, and celebrated on 17 June by the Sisters of Saint Joseph of the Apparition. == References ==